And music is a beautiful thing. All right. Music is a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, baby. It's a beautiful thing. Let me tell you something about music. It's beautiful.
Mac Miller was absolutely right when he said that quote. Music is indeed a very, very beautiful thing. I'm pretty sure most of you guys can relate when I say music has played a massive part in my life in some way or another. And I'm happy to say it still does. It don't matter if it's just listening to music, talking about my favorite artists, discovering new music, or adding new vinyls. And speaking of which, here it is. This is not even half of it, but hey, you know what? It still is a pretty solid collection if you ask me. And with me currently being in my 20s, as I change and develop as a person, the same can be said about my music taste. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about right now. I want to talk to you guys about the evolution of my music taste. I remember when I was in elementary school, I got a black MP3 player for Christmas, which is exactly like the one you're seeing on the screen currently. And for those tech nerds or people that are just curious in general, this was a SanDisk Sansa Clip Plus. And keep in mind, this was before the time of iPod Touches, I think, so I had to work with what I was given. I kind of want to save you guys some time here because before I got my MP3 player, I was basically listening to whatever came on the radio station. And some of the artists I had in there, which I really liked at the time, were Bob Marley, Kanye West, Eminem, Lil Wayne, Tupac, Michael Jackson, and My Chemical Romance. And yes, this is a true story. When I was in second grade, I thought they were called My Commercial Romance. And even though I had other artists and other songs in my playlists, but however, those were the mains that I was listening to constantly. And which brings me over to the next part of this video. And for my next part of this video, we have 6th and 7th grade. This was 2010 to 2012-ish. Honestly, I would post a pic or two from then, but trust me, y'all don't want to see how ugly my ass was. But in all fairness though, it was middle school, and purity was hitting all of us like trucks. I was still listening to the other artists previously mentioned, but however, it wasn't as much. But however, some artists I was really getting into at the time were, I was still bumping some Tucci, I was listening to Drake. Keep in mind, this was around the time when, Young Money, Cash Money began to blow up. Wiz Khalifa was one I was getting into. Bruno Mars. Oh, Bruno. Let me tell you about Bruno. So, actually a really funny story. When I was in 6th grade, I went to school with this one kid. His name was Austin. And he posted a cover of him singing Grenade. But the thing was, his voice was so high-pitched, and he got shat on for it. It was the funniest thing ever. The Lonely Island I was getting really into at the time because of the comedy, goofy style rap, and also a very special soul I started to get into thanks to my brother, and his name is Mac Miller, and that name is going to be dropping on this video a lot. Trust me, man. Some other artists I really liked at the time were the Fall of Troy, mostly because they had a song on Guitar Hero 3 called FCP Remix, which also led me down a rabbit hole to listen to a lot of their other stuff. I say really good stuff. Check it out if you haven't. Also, if you didn't play Guitar Hero 3 as a kid, you really missed out. Another artist I really liked was Skrillex. This was around the time I think dubstep was getting really big at the time. Had a huge My Chemical Romance phase. Let's see, I had a huge Green Day phase. Actually, when I was in 7th grade, I wrote a paper about them for my English class. I really liked the Beatles at the time. I also got Beatles Rock Band, also a really fun game. I got pretty big into Skillet at the time, mostly because a couple of their songs were on the SmackDown vs. Raw games. And also, I really liked Hollywood Undead too. Actually, around this time, my friend Ian, he actually burnt me a CD of their album American Tragedy. So shout out to him if you're watching. And with that being said, that leads on to the next part. Before I begin this next session, I just want to let y'all know this part has some cringe artists in there. So just saying in advance, you've been warned. From 8th grade until my freshman year of high school, this was a time for a lot of change. I think it's because I was going from middle school to high school. I think it's because, and also I was discovering new artists too. So don't get it twisted. I was still listening to a lot of the stuff previously mentioned, but however, I was dipping my toes into a lot more other unique artists too. Getting the good out of the way, this was around the time I started getting into my Odd Future era. Earl Sweatshirt was a rapper I was really getting into a lot at this time. His mixtape Earl was a mixtape I had on repeat a lot. And also a little fun fact, when I was in 8th grade, I wrote kind of like a love rap to this one girl I really liked. Her name was Zoe. And the instrumental I used was off his song Mollywopped. And I wrote it and I did not perform it because I didn't have the balls to. I was also listening to Frank Ocean a lot too. I had Channel Orange on repeat. That was probably my favorite album at that time. And finally, we have Tyler. Man, I can talk about Tyler all day. I remember around the time that Wolf came out, I had an alarm set on my phone, on my iPhone 4, which it told me the time which that Wolf was going to come out. I can talk about my love for that man all day, but I think I'd rather save it for another video. Kid Cudi was one I was really listening to a lot at the time. Man on the Moon 1 and 2 I really liked, and I also really liked some of his older SoundCloud stuff too. We can't forget about Bring Me the Horizon too. Also, you can't forget about deadmau5. I also really love the song Professional, and also the Christian metal band Underoath I was really big into as well. Alright. Stop the music for a sec. Stop the music. Do y'all remember said a part of this section here was cringe? And we're about to get into that section. Hoodie Allen was not necessarily cringe per se. If anything, I actually really liked his music up until 2017. But the one thing that separates him, and that's why I put him in cringe, is the fact that he was alleged and accused of grooming minors when he was on tour. But regardless if this is true or not, I just gotta throw it out there. I mean, is this true? I don't know. And I'm not here to start beef about it. But I just gotta throw it in there, if you know what I'm saying. And also the fact that his music kind of went downhill ever since 2017. Who doesn't make things any better? But if there is a phase of an artist that I liked, I dread talking about in this video, this is the one. Still thinking about the fact that I listen to their music lives in my head rent-free. The fact that I even remotely like these guys gives me mental breakdowns and PTSD flashbacks. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one, the only, wait, hold up a sec. I'm not even gonna say their name because this band still lives in my head rent-free. So I'll just show y'all the pictures.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
Next we have 10th to 11th grade, which took place in 2015 to 2016-ish. This was around the time where I started getting into more like 90s, 80s, 70s rock, and also a little bit more of alternative rap too. Some artists I listened to heavily around this time included G-Eazy, Skizzy Mars, Mac Miller, Logic, Black Bear, Swayze, and Bryce Vine. Sorry about that, I burped. But actually, a cool fact on how I found Bryce Vine was actually one time during swim practice, one of my friends, he actually brought a Bluetooth speaker to swim practice. So like, you know, like, we're gonna like bump in there afterwards. And he played the song Sour Patch Kids. And I asked him, ooh, dude, like, what song is this? And then he told me Sour Patch Kids. And then once I got home, I looked that song up and I looked up Bryce Vine stuff. And I was jamming with it. Also, some other artists I listened to that were more on the classic rock side were Nirvana, Jimi Hendrix, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine, John Mayer, The Grateful Dead. And actually, I wish I recorded some videos. However, I do have a picture to show of me at the Dead and Company concert summer going into my senior year of high school. Had a really fun time. And also Citizen King. For those who are not really familiar with Citizen King, they were a one-hit wonder band, which I really hate using that term, but kind of is what it is. But for those who don't know what song that blew them up, listen to the song Better Days and the bottom drops out. You would know what song and what artist that I'm talking about. And now this leads me to my next stop. Senior year to freshman year in college. This was the time I was kind of on my ignorant hood rat shit. And this was around the time that SoundCloud rap kind of started to take off too. And some of the artists I listened to around that time were Black Bear, Trippie Redd, Playboy Cardi, Lil Uzi Vert, Travis Scott, XXX Tentacion, R.I.P., Ski Mask Slump God. I circled back to Tyler the Creator because of Flower Boy. Really good album. Listen to it if you haven't. And also Mac Miller. And also my senior year of high school. That was when I attended his last album tour before he passed on. R.I.P. too. And also, I would really like to show you guys some pictures and some videos if y'all don't mind. And oh yeah, recording his part, some other artists I forgot I was listening to: Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, Wi-Fi's Funeral, and Ugly God. Next up, we have my sophomore to junior year in college. This was from 2018 to the middle of 2020. And this was around the time when the pandemic happened. And of course, a lot of changes were made for not only me personally, but also within my music taste. Some boy band, quote unquote, or like a rap group I was bumping a lot around this time was Brockhampton. How it started was one day, my sophomore year of college, I was with a group of friends, just taking a joyride. And my friend Luke, he was actually playing the song in 1997, Diana. And I asked him, yo, who is this? And he told me, Brockhampton. And once I got done hanging out with them, I went back to my dorm. I searched their stuff up. And honestly, literally from that moment forward, it was a match made in heaven. I don't think I ever fell in love with an artist like so quickly. Also, some other artists I was listening to a lot at this time were Mac DeMarco, Wallows, and Neutral Milk Hotel. To be more specific, in The Airplane Over the Sea, which is a 10 out of 10 album in my opinion. Go listen to it if you haven't. And now, on to senior year of college to fifth year. Man, a lot happened that year. A lot of good, but also a lot more bad. But however, that's a story for another day. Some artists I was bumping a lot at the time were still Mac DeMarco, Lil Peep, rest in peace. Also, keep in mind, this was kind of the time where I was going through a dark period in my life, and his music really helped me out a lot there. Steve Lacy, pre-Bad Habit. Yes, we exist. Rex Orange County, Growing Red. Please don't judge me. Also, summer going into my 5th year of college. This was around the time that Call Me If You Get Lost came out. Great album. Highly recommend. Faces by Mac Miller. JPEG Mafia was someone I was getting into a little bit. Same with Danny Brown, but I'm going to speak highly more on them later. And I also circled back to Kanye West, especially more of his older stuff. And I also bought his vinyl, The College Dropout, which is also a really good album. Check out if you haven't, which I'm pretty sure most of you have. And now, skipping off to our final part of the video, we have... And last but not least, current day. We have reached our final stop of this glorious journey of my music life. And without further ado, let me show you the artist that I'm currently listening to now. Modern Baseball, The Alchemist, Biking with Francis, JID, A Tribe Called Quest, Suicide Boys, JPEG Mafia, and Danny Brown, which also really led me into liking the album Scaring the Host. Oh, don't even get me started on Scaring the Host, dog. That album is a 10 out of 10 album. Sounds like God made it himself. Best album of 2023 is Mwah, Mwah. Very beautiful album. Listen to it if you haven't, please. You have now seen how my music taste has evolved throughout my life, ranging all the way from elementary school up until now. You have seen the good, and you've definitely seen the worst. And of course, there are some other artists that I did not name that I listened to and I still listen to. But however, if I named them off, I'd be here an extra 10 minutes. And of course, I definitely recommend checking out all these artists that I've named, except for y'all. You do not get to be named. And I do not recommend either, just saying. And that will do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really means a lot. If you watched this all the way through, I just want to say thank you. You are the real MVP. But anyway, thank you guys so much.
From
Love y'all,
Jamaica,
kings and queens.
music, you know?
And
I like
one more
musician
thing.
from
Comment down below. Let me know. What kind of music do you like?
Black musician
What
from
artists
America
do you
play
like?
the funk.
And
all on that Summer
if
Jam
you
screen.
recommend
And by the
something,
way, Mark
I'll
Parker, yes,
slap
I
a
will
like,
still
and I'll
accept
check
an
it out.
investment in
But
Donda.
anyway,
I got
this
some
has
more
been
ideas that don't involve
GT
shoes.
signing out.
But if you guys are
Have a
investing in the
blessed day.
arts,
See y'all.
y'all want to invest in